Hey you, as a guy with a 20 bomb on every legend in Apex Legends and over 1,000 kills on most, let me hit you with one tip for every legend in Apex Legends. If you did find this video useful, make sure to smash that like button, and let's just get straight into it. Because of Bloodhound's increased movement speed during the fill of the hunt, make sure to take as many duels as you can and abuse the increased move speed by strafing and crouch spamming a lot. This makes you incredibly difficult to hit and should net you the win in the case of a duel. As with Octane, if you are annoyed with Bloodhound's ultimate changing your field of view, there's a setting that stops this from happening under the video settings, which is called FOV ability scaling. In addition to your fortified passive, your shield makes you the strongest duelist in the game by giving you an incredibly high effective health pool. Keeping your shield up will obviously slow you down and make it hard to clear corners. A way to get around this is by building up some speed and then bunny hopping around as you're clearing out the corners. This not only gains you a lot of time, but it will probably catch your enemy off guard. Now this one is kind of obvious, but make sure that the lifeline always has a gold backpack when it's available. The added advantage of a golden backpack giving you half your health back is worth its weight in gold. Speaking of rests, if you play lifeline and you hit a rest that forces your opponent to either peek and overextend to finish the kill or deal damage to you, and that allows you to either deal damage to them or even get a free pick or get a free rest. It's also worth knowing that Lifeline's heal drone tanks both nades and bullets, so if you are finding yourself in a sticky situation out in the open, make sure to drop her heal drone and play around it for some slight cover. A while ago, Pathfinder received something you would call a nerf to his grapple cooldown. A longer grapple has a very long cooldown, up to 30-ish seconds. But a short grapple can go down to as little as 10 seconds. With this in mind, you can do shorter repositions such as gaining high ground or jumping a little bit ahead of your team to get a flank, while still having your cooldown intact. If the pressure becomes too much and you need to back off, you can do a full range grapple to go back to your team. Your tactical deploys faster without a finger wiggle if you use it as you are portaling. Another useful thing you can do with the portal is to set up a so-called kidnap on a fortified team by starting a portal at an elevated level, running into the other team, preferably using a tactical, and placing a portal on top of or next to someone within the fortification. This is extra useful if you have your teammates waiting on the other side of the portal to finish them off quickly. Your passive procs when someone misses a shot when you're sprinting. Before engaging in a 1v1, you want to try to proc your passive. You can do this by either juking your enemy to shoot at you and missing through either dodging with spamming crouches or just plain old strafing. You can keep up to 6 caustic traps active at one time. Even if you're not using all 6, make sure that you have 6 placed on the ground so you will have 3 available on cooldown if anything happens. You can also keep these barrels as sort of a battery and move them around or replace them as needed. This is a common mistake Mirages make. If you pop your ult too close to an enemy, they will see a blue glow plus some other tells, and they can easily see which the real Mirage is. So when you pop the Mirage ultimate, make sure that you keep a tiny bit of a distance. If you are taking a 1v1 as a Mirage, try to use the added confusion from your several bamboozles to circle around your enemy and spray them down. Using the Mirage ultimate as an escape is fine too, just make sure that you're not running straight for cover. Skilled players always shoot the Mirage clone that heads for cover first. When full healing using something like a medkit or a phoenix, wait until the last few moments and you can pop a stim for free, gaining the effect of the speed but healing up in the process. Just to make sure you don't do this in the zone. Also make sure to check out the new setting called FOV ability scaling, which stops your FOV from changing when you use your stim. This is under video in your settings. Now Wattson is the strongest legend in the game, so I guess he doesn't really need tips, but just in case, as long as you have LOS to your own fence nodes, this means you can deploy a new fence. This goes through enemies or doors. This means that if you have an enemy sitting between you and a node, maybe behind a door or something else, you can actually cheese them out by breaking it with another fence. A bit of a cheesy way to get a kill as a Wattson is also by setting up your fences right next to a doorway. Stand next to the fences to deactivate them. As soon as your enemy runs past you or, runs through the door, step away from the fence and activate it either in their faces or behind them. This will either catch them off guard or get them stunned and give you a completely free kill. Looking at a banner through the drone will show how many squads are nearby within up to 200 meters. If you ping while looking at the banner, the amount will be communicated to your teammates.
There are a lot of squads near us.
If you are rotating and you don't want to stop and scan, you can quickly deploy your drone as you are sliding downhill and then quickly look at the banner while you're sliding without losing any time. Another drone tip is that if you want to place a drone without actually going into drone view, you just hold the tactical button. This will place a drone without making you get stuck in the animation. Never send in all 3 at the same time. If you have, for example, Octane, send in 2 of your teammates and have them try to get 1 knock. If you manage to get one knock, send in the last shadow and try to either hit a stick on the knocked enemy to get a finisher, or maybe even getting a knock on who's resing them. I feel really bad for giving advice on this combo, by the way. If you're finding yourself in a duel as a Revenant, make sure to spam your crouch and wiggle left and right. Even the most experienced players have issues with reacting to the speed and animation of a crouch spamming Revenant, because of how rare it is to actually see a Revenant playing like this, and also because other legends have a whole different crouch speed which you actually have practice against. Your ultimate is your greatest tool. You can use the black market to quickly scan if a POI is worth hitting and looting, assuming there's not enough spots for your teammates to pick up what you need. You can quickly stock up on ammo or use it as improvisational cover. In addition to this, the black market has a lot of value late game when everyone are bunkered up, and you can use the black market to steal otherwise unavailable loot, such as the enemy's armor swaps, loot that's out in the open, or hell, even care packages. The barriers damage nor shields do not stack, so don't waste your cooldown lighting them up next to each other. One shot from your side of the wall will break all but one barrier. Stay wary of your barrier positioning so you don't give a flanker free cover and a damage boost into your back. I suggest setting up your barriers in a way where you have several levels of defense. For example, look at this positioning. There's one wall up front. If this one breaks, I can jump backwards and shoot from the side. Horizon is a legend that is poised to be the least affected by the tap strafe nerf because of her increased air strafe in her passive. Speaking of her passive, it allows you to take no lag when you land from a high point. This can be abused by climbing high or using her passive to then land on a slight angled ledge, launching Horizon forward. If you're using your mortar indoors, you'll get a fast proc but expect to take a lot of damage. The new toggle added in this recent patch is great, but keep in mind that your grenades are faster and they do travel longer if you're using the Grenadier passive. This means that you will need to lead the grenades differently. However, if you want your grenades to travel like they used to, you have to click the press toggle throw power button, which is defaultly left alt. With Grenadier enabled, arc stars are almost at a hit scan speed. If you want to hit a sky nade, also known as a nade you're throwing straight up in the air, make sure to turn Grenadier off, otherwise this will fly way too far and blow up in the sky. Make sure that you switch your thruster control from toggle to hold in the gameplay options to gain more control of your thrusters. If you're using Valkyrie's tactical, make sure that you make some space while the rockets deploy so you do not get hit by them. The rockets can be either used to force someone out of cover or gain free poke if everyone's playing passive. When using a tactical in several story buildings, try to line it up to cover in between the floors. You cover twice the ground and it's about as difficult to dodge as a normal floor scan. Seer scan was nerfed, but after finishing a fight, you should still try to do a quick spin around to see if you can spot anyone coming in for a third party. This obviously depends on your general terrain and situation you're currently in, but an easy rule of thumb is just by looking at the cover in your general vicinity. And that was it for one tip for every legend in Apex Legends. If you guys have any suggestions or requests for guides or other types of tips, let me know in the comments, and make sure that you also like this video if you did enjoy it, and of course subscribe. Hit the bell button so you don't miss any new uploads. Also, while I've got you here, make sure to check out this video and this video. Both of them are guaranteed bangers. Well, like I said, I guarantee it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you all tomorrow.